you compromise your own integrity, your own morality. That's
Associate.
a thin line that you're on between the people that you have, the people you interview.
When you're sleeping on the floor, it ain't much integrity.
He's not on the floor.
No, but he's saying when you're sleeping on the floor.
He's got multiple floors in his house. He's not on the floor.
It's a different type of floor.
Yeah, right. He's on the top floor.
Like the floor he could sleep on.
No, his thing is
So my point, my question is, there's everybody in here has done an interview. Everybody in here has avoided certain interviews because it would fuck with our moral compass for whatever reason. I've had a conversation with him. I know I've definitely done it. Avoid it. Dude could be popping. He's top tier. Nope. Not gonna do it because I know for a fact this other. How do you circumvent that with a platform like yours and an attitude that you don't care who's judging? How do you make those two mix where you keep your moral compass going?
I mean, it's two things where, number one, I'm not opposed to interviewing snitches and lowlifes and pieces of shit because
well, all right.
I'm not looking at my podcast as a cosign of like, this guy's a good guy.
Right.
You know, like I see Vlad interview snitches and I'm like, why wouldn't he? He's not a street person, not a gang member, whatever. And then I see guys like Gilly and Wallow, who I heard about them turning down guests 100% because they snitched. And I respect that because they come from a different background, whatever. So I could definitely see myself interviewing a bad person for sure. But at the same time, like that would only be for me being interested in it because it's not like any interview I do moves the needle for me, really.
Would you interview 6ix9ine again?
I wouldn't interview him because I don't like him and I think he's a bad person and I would much rather be a part of his downfall than his attempt at resuscitating his image, you know?
Well, shit.
I ain't mad.
I just don't fuck with Cub. He's a fucking weirdo.
Yo, speaking of which, what is your thoughts on this whole Jay Prince and Wack 100?
Wait. I was supposed to ask the question. I apologize. I was supposed to ask the question.
Rewind it back.
How far into Wack 100's pocket are you?
Wow.
Because when I heard him say that, I said, oh, yeah? How do you take that?
I saw that, and at first I was kind of pissed because I saw a couple tweets being like, Wack said he's extorting you. And I'm like, what the fuck? So
I'm taller than him.
Immediately, YouTube, Adam22, reverse chronological order, boom. Like, let's hear the Clubhouse conversation.
Yeah.
And all I heard was him talking to fucking Hassan and saying, that's nephew, he in my back pocket, which I understand how that phrasing is a little.
Yeah.
That does sound a little
my
weird.
back pocket.
But
it's where you keep your wallet.
What he was really saying to Hassan was he was saying, I could get you an interview with Adam, which to be honest, he could have, because I would have interviewed Hassan for the same reason you interviewed him. He's a fucking super interesting guy, you know? And I never took that in any type of way. Obviously, Wack said a lot of other crazy shit in the course of those phone calls, but nah, like, because Wack always brings this up whenever anybody brings that up, where he says, like, he has brought me multiple artists and said, Adam, this is a guy that I'm managing, will you interview him? And I was just like, nah, I don't think he's ready yet. I don't think he's big enough yet. Maybe one of my guys who does podcasts on the channel can interview him.
Right.
And, you know, like, sometimes he's brought me other stuff and we did it, you know, it's like, realistically, I say no to, like, I've said no to doing interviews to, like, the scariest people in rap. Realistically, like, the craziest.
Who's the top three?
I'm gonna just Wack, and Wack.
Wack.
I'm not throwing anybody else in the mix.
Right.
But I don't feel like I'm doing something offensive or something that somebody would want to do something to me when I say that. Right. Because when I think of someone doing an interview,
but like, that's kind of jumping out of the back pocket.
No, I'm not in the pocket. Whatever fucking
you
jean shorts he's rocking, I'm not in them. But
not jean shorts.
Now Wack got a healthy jean shorts collection, I'm pretty sure. But I don't know. Like okay, if I was A&R and an artist right now, if I had an artist, who he does his first interview with is a massive decision. And I think that you should do it at the very right moment in your career. You should build up a level of interest in you before you do an interview, and you shouldn't really do an interview until your music is popping to a certain extent, because people need to be interested in you before you give them an interview. So when I say, no, I don't think he's ready for the interview yet, I feel like I'm doing you a favor because I'm telling you what my opinion is, and presumably you think that I have a decent idea of how an artist's career should go. Right. And when I see a new artist and they're on every single platform, and they're trash at doing the interviews, I'm just like, bro, this is so stupid. You only get to be new once.
Yeah.
And like, if you are 19 doing every single interview platform, you know, like you're just kind of like closing the curiosity gap for a lot of fans. Like they feel like they figured you out. Like I had one artist who was so mad that I wouldn't interview him, and I never ended up telling him. I should probably tell him, but I was like, I watched his Vlad interview. It was trash. I saw Vlad doing a valiant effort, trying to get some answers out of him. The shit sucked. And then his music never took off. So if I wanted to be mean to him and just tell him the truth, that's what I'd probably tell him is like.
Well, you kind of just told him.
Yeah. He don't know what I'm talking about. Like,
I'm sure he does.
If he watches this, he
you
will.
know, it's like, I don't feel like I'm doing you some massive disrespect when I'm like, no, he's not ready for the interview yet. I feel like I'm just kind of giving you some common sense advice, you know?
Have you spoken with Wack since he said that?
Yeah, he called into the live show on Tuesday, fucking talking about the Jay Prince thing, which I don't know whose side to take in that because, like, okay, you know the situation is that there's this video footage of Larry Hoover doing this epic ass interview telling everything, and he did it with this woman, and she's been sitting on it for years. And Jay Prince had a deal, I believe, in place to give her some relatively small amount of money for the footage so that they could use it in this documentary. Somehow, at some point, Wack gets in contact with her and is like, no, that footage is worth way more, and starts basically representing her, negotiating with Jay Prince. And now everybody else in rap seems like they're concerned with being on good terms with Jay Prince, and clearly Wack doesn't give a fuck, which is what makes this whole thing interesting. I don't really know, because I mean, what Wack is doing there is like, if you are Jay Prince and you expect him to do right by you, yeah, that is kind of fucked up, you know? Like if I fucking contact your realtor and I'm like, no, he could charge him more for that house. Like that's fucked up, like, right?
Yeah.
Like, but Wack, like what is Wack's allegiance to Jay Prince? Like, it sounds like he's kind of just representing the chick on a, I don't know, if everything's on the up and up, I guess I could see the side of it, but I mean, obviously that's him drawing a line in the sand and saying like, no, I don't fuck with you. Like, you're gonna have beef with me forever now. I probably wouldn't wanna press that button with Jay Prince. Right. But I mean, if he wants to smoke, hey, more power to him.
That's kind of alarming.
In what capacity?
Because these things are public. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like, do you believe it or do you not believe it?
Believe what exactly?
Like
The whole scenario, the whole story.
Like how does this play out? They're doing interviews, but it's supposed to be a problem.
Well,
you dig what I'm saying?
It's only going to be a problem when both parties collide.
But they could probably never, ever meet again.
We know how Jay Prince moves. We know how Wack.
See, I don't want to put. If we're gonna talk like that,
we're not
then
gonna
it
talk
shouldn't
like that.
be
Because I got in
public.
trouble for how
You dig what I'm saying?
that whole.
Like if I got a problem with somebody, I'm not talking about them.
Listen.
You feel what I'm saying?
Listen.
Like it's just I don't know what's cap anymore.
No. I'll tell you.
It's hard to tell because I can't imagine that these people that's been in the streets for so long could be that naive to think that if we publicly beef and something happens to this person, where do you think they're gonna look?
Attention is the new currency, though.
I feel you. But
Attention
you know,
is the
some
new
people
currency.
don't give a fuck.
Attention is the new currency.
Some people are still about that life, and they're hardwired to still talk that talk, knowing that there's a lot of energy on them.
Math, how much beef happens over money?
A lot of it.
A lot.
Money,
Right?
women,
No.
disrespect.
Over women.
No.
More beef happens over women.
But stay where we are. How much beef happens over money?
A lot.
Right. If attention is the new money, how can you be shocked when people are beefing for attention?
But I think Wack is probably more motivated by money.
Money
In this
equals,
specific
if
case.
certain people, because there are certain people who have the ability to turn attention into money. Not everybody can, but there are certain people high up enough where all attention equals cash. I believe the people we're discussing are in that boat.
But let's say that like Wack thinks that lady could get $1 million for that footage instead of 20,000, and let's say Wack's gonna get 20%. I mean, $200,000 worth of attention is a lot of fucking attention. Like, I think Wack would be probably motivated by like making $100 grand or $200 grand a lot more than. But and I mean, because I mean, I'm not. Maybe he believes the shit he says about managing 6ix9ine. I mean, I can't think of a reason he's managing 6ix9ine besides money, right? maybe attention, maybe
it's
clout
kind of
a little bit, but
did you
mostly
notice
money,
it's kind
right?
of similar? Like 6ix9ine was doing the same shit,
Exactly.
and now you see
He learned it.
But there's all this, everything we're talking about still centers from attention. You can raise the price because of the attention you put on the situation. If I shine a big ass spotlight on this thing happening, I look like the good guy because I came out of nowhere and rescued this woman and got her all this money.
But I don't know if Wack even made it public because I feel like Jay Prince made it public because to Wack, he would probably be just as fine negotiating in private because they could also just stall him out and be like, okay, the documentary's not happening. We're not giving you the footage. Boom. That doesn't have to be public.
I'm pretty sure the overall scheme with most things that I've seen come from that specific space is all public. It never stays quiet.
So is this the new promotion? Is this the new marketing?
You think they're coming together to boost up the storyline so a bigger network can say, hey guys, we seen this on No Jumper. We seen y'all talking about it on My Expert Opinion.
No, because it's getting deeper than that. Now you got Wack 100 posting paperwork saying that his son snitched and all types of, or insinuating. I can't say that he put the actual words snitch. I'm not 100% on that. But insinuating that, his son is on papers.
He just got away with saying he extorting half the industry.
Then there's that.
The problem
Is this the new marketing? You know this guy. I don't.
But if any of that shit is true about him holding shit over people's head for money, I mean, I don't really think it's a clout thing. I think it's a money thing. And I think Wack is one of the few dudes left in the game who is like, no, fuck you. I don't care about your respect or getting along with you. If I see an opportunity to get a bag, I'm just gonna go for it on some real old school shit. Whereas everybody nowadays wants to get along.
Right.
He seems like he has a real capacity for doing things that he knows will piss people off just because he stands to gain from it. And I mean,
remember the integrity thing we talked about earlier? As far as like where's your moral compass?
Right.
What wouldn't you do past a certain point? I
Right.
think that's why most people have an issue with the things they see from him. It's because morally, the codes you say that you enforce or the things you say that you're about, the antithesis of what you're doing, it seems to be the antithesis of what you're doing for money.
but like with the 6ix9ine shit, if he can make that make sense in his head and he feels like he's still giving out a coherent idea of who he is, I mean, hey, I don't personally really judge him for that, but I know there's definitely people in the streets who judge him for that more than me. But I mean, at the end of the day, you gotta make it on the
I'm not judging. This is just an observation. This is just what I'm seeing. Like, whatever you do, whatever floats your boat or finds your lost remote, knock yourself out. I'm just observationally, when people say why they have an issue with him, I see where it comes from.
And I'm gonna say this. I got a call from someone in Kanye's camp. Shout out to that person. You know who you are. When I sat with Hassan talked about the whole Wack 100 and extorting Kanye with the tape from Kim and da-da-da. This person called me to rectify it, saying that Game and Kanye have always been cool, regardless to whatever, and that wasn't the situation. But the perception of it is 1 minute, you're talking about you got a tape that you'll only sell to Kanye, and the next thing is Kanye in the studio with Game.
releasing a single with Game like 2 weeks after his album came out.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, yeah, I still am like looking at that situation like, yeah, I don't know.
So now people are feeling like, yo, what's really going on here? Now, Game is a great artist, but you associated with this guy that people are starting to feel like he's not a good guy. He's not doing the right thing out here. He's not about the culture, he's about the bag. And that, if you're about the bag, that's cool. But now you're tied to other people that people are starting to look at funny because that's your man's.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying?
I've heard it said, but I mean, I don't know.
Do you think that was an extortion situation?
I mean, for me as a person sitting on the couch, it all seems quite convenient, and it seems like a series of events that it's hard for me to imagine why it happened in another way.
Right.
But I mean, I feel like the extortion thing, it's so often there's like an alternate explanation where the same series of events is just kind of being misrepresented to the public a little bit Like, I don't know. I mean, could it be? I don't know.
You know what extortion is, though?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe explain it, from your culture. Maybe it's a disconnect on what extortion
Extortion
actually
as
is.
in like, getting someone to do you a favor or give you something in exchange for you doing something for them or not doing something for them,
So does it have to be something that, like someone extorting you, does it have to be aggressive?
No, and in fact, I think it's probably better done in a friendly
Exactly.
manner.
So they actually act like your friend, correct?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I'm just getting back, in our community, if someone says that in his back pocket, he didn't say that you were in his back pocket. So just rewind, he said he was in your back pocket. In our community, that's extortion for sure. Somebody's in my pocket, that means he's in my pocket.
Pocket, right.
Then you said that, because he probably thought he could get Hassan on the show. That's still a form of extortion, If he's saying that he got connection with you where he could get, put Hassan on the show, he's saying,
He's gonna do what I tell him, basically.
Under my wing, he do what I tell him to do.
But Wack can give you all these other examples of artists who he stands to financially benefit from more than Hassan, who I've told him, nah, I don't think they're ready. So it's like, the Hassan thing, when he said that, I took it as Adam would want to interview you and I can line it up. Because in that call, which I thought was kind of crazy, Hassan is like, nah, no jumper, they're big. Like, they ain't gonna fuck with me. And I'm like, what? Like, bro, you're like an actual poppin' ass YouTuber. You see how crazy that episode of 6ix9ine and shit. And that was after that too.
Right.
Like, I was like, when I heard him say that, I was going through the moment of like watching all his fucking videos on his channel and just being like, yo, this dude is crazy.
No, he is.
So, I mean, the question is, because Wack is not, I never gave Wack $1. I talked to Wack on some chill shit. Wack honestly called me the other day and just had like the most pleasant fucking conversation I ever had with anybody. Of just like, I just want to tell you I respect everything you're building. I love what you're doing for LA. And I got mad love for you and just thank you for everything.
Yo, listen, Hassan was like this. What? No jumper? That's crazy. They're big.
It's hot for trapper turn smack rapper. Only smack rapper that you know is smack rappers. Got bars, I can hang with the backpackers. Trap star, I don't hang with the backpackers. I'm in the hood with the work, you heard. Making fiends leave earth, you heard. Got your baby mama thirst, you heard. Feel the flow, nigga, throw it in reverse. This the wave you need to surf, you heard.